Hello, everyone. This is Tommy at World at War Comics. Thanks for joining us today. We have another special guest. This time we're speaking with Frankie Washington. He is the writer, creator, and artist for Kaijus and Cowboy. You might have read issue 1. It was a successful Kickstarter, and they are currently working on issue 2. There will be another Kickstarter to help support that. He also is an artist for Alterna Comics, currently working on issue 20 of It Came Out on a Wednesday. So make sure that you follow Frankie Washington. You can follow him on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. He's just a great guy. I think you're going to really enjoy this conversation. And without further ado, here is Mr. Frankie and me. Thanks, everyone. Talk soon. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the World at War Comics show. We have another special guest today. We have Frankie Washington, artist extraordinaire, writer, creator.
I know all of the above. Renaissance man.
You are, man.
My head starts getting bigger. I won't be able to get through the door. It's like, oh, snap.
Oh, man. Now, you've accomplished a lot, my friend. Yeah. And thank you for sending over a few of your comics, which we'll talk about here in a moment.
Sure.
I really enjoyed them. Had that old school feel. I don't know, man.
Yes.
I loved it, man. I loved it.
Well, I think I shock people when I tell them that I'm going to be turning 53.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it blows people's minds. They go, 53? I'm like, yeah, dude, I was born 1970. Yeah. And so I am a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up in that time of when the greatest, and let's be honest, when you saw entertainment, the levels of stuff that came, everything that we're seeing now is a product of what came out during that time.
100%.
When you saw TV, animation, there was a massive boom. And I was a kid. You were a kid, I'd imagine, who were during that time where we were just it's like the gamma bomb. We were blasted, bombarded by all this stuff. And no wonder where we're at today. And so one of the things about it is that, I'm a huge fan. The first comic for me, the first one technically, first off, I grew up in Boston.
Okay.
In Jamaica Plain, the projects at Jamaica Plain. Yeah. And I remember my first comic was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
My mom, it was like this guy had converted. It's so weird. He converted a school bus into a store.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah. And so it was like you would go to the back door, like it was converted. Like you walk up these stairs and then you would buy stuff, Yeah. And I remember he had a spinner rack and I got a Spider-Man. And I remember, and at the time, my mom, I don't think she really thought of it as anything, just more like, just like a sort of hobby for me. But, she would go grocery shopping and when she would come home with the groceries, she would have the stuff in a brown paper bag.
Yeah.
So what you would do it while, the big boy, I'm helping mom, put the groceries away. She would rip the bag into pieces of paper and say, here you go. And I would start drawing. I'll just be drawing and whatever, just crazy stuff. And so awesome. I remember getting the Spider-Man and I did the classic thing because I didn't know I would do the tracing.
For sure.
Try to understand things and whatever. But the defining moment for me was when she took me out to a place in Dedham, Boston, Massachusetts. So Dedham, Massachusetts, and it was a place called Child World. Now, Child World was like Toys R Us.
Oh, okay.
But it was massive. It was like Child World was, and if you go on YouTube, you can find the commercials for Child World.
I'll have to check that out.
It's amazing. The place where kids can be. It was like the world for kids. Yeah. And I remember it was a massive place. She took me to it, and I remember we were going through the doors, and there was a spinner rack, massive spinner rack. And I remember I was going, I was like, oh, comics and stuff. And I was starting to, start spinning around. And it was these comics that were like 10 to a bag.
Oh, yeah.
So for like $5, it was like $5. You can get 10. Remember that?
Yeah.
In a bag, right? And the first comic that popped up for me was the Shogun Warriors.
Oh,
and I lost it. Because I'd already started watching. There was a show called Force 5.
Yeah.
That had giant robots. I love giant robots. I love kaijus. And I started loving a lot of that old school anime that was coming over, like Battle of the Planets, which was Gatchaman. What was the other one? Robotech came later. But it was Battleship Yamato, which was Star Blazers. So that stuff. And then Force 5 was this by Jim Terry Productions, was this collection of he went over there to Japan and got a collection of comic super robot shows. You had Vanguard Ace, Get a Robo G, which was Star Avengers, Grandizer, Guy King, and then the Star Zinger, which was renamed into the Star Avengers. No, excuse me, Space Cateers. I'm sorry, the Space Cateers. So then you had this for a 5-day block. And I watched that and I was like, oh my God, I want the toys, I want the figures. So then the Shogun Warriors, Mattel started releasing the Shogun Warrior figures, but I didn't know that they had a comic book until that moment.
Yeah.
So, because I was really, my whole thing was I was hoping I can get like a Shogun Warrior figure, you know,
sure.
Child World Toys. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get the figure. But when I saw that changed everything for me. It was like,
awesome, man.
This is the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to draw giant robots, giant monsters. Yes, I love superheroes.
Yeah.
I love Western. Surprisingly, I love Western. I love a lot of that stuff, horror and all that stuff. But something about giant robots and giant monsters, or kaijus, cryptids, whatever.
Yeah.
It brings me such a joy. Like, that's the stuff I want to do. So when I saw this comic book, and it was done by Marvel Comics, I just was like, please, Mom. So she got it for me. I forgot what other comic books were in that pack.
Yeah. They didn't matter, right?
That's the one I locked onto. And the artists that were in it were American. That made it even more better.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that there was these two American guys. It was Doug Munich, and it was he was the writer, and then Herb Trimpe, who was the artist. And the work that Herb Trimpe did was phenomenal. It was fun. It was energizing. It was pure escapism. And I think that's one of the things that I feel like comic books coming from the 2000s, but even from moving from the mid 90s into the 2000s and forward. Yeah, we started getting away from just pure escapism. In the quest for realism. It's in the quest for
truth to that.
And the thing about it was that when we grew up, we read comic books where they went the sky to limits. So for the Shogun Warriors, you had these robots that were fighting, they're giants, and they're fighting like they're the Avengers. And they're fighting against the madman who wants to take over the planet. There wasn't all these other little nuances in it. It was just like, I want to take over the planet because I can do genetic experiments on creatures and make them really giant. And of course I'm going to take over the world and those kind of things. And that was so much fun and so adventurous. And so, that really impacted me enough so that it sort of stayed with me through my journeys as a kid through, middle school, high school, and then eventually, because of my skills, thank goodness I had teachers, mentors who really sort of pushed me into that avenue.
That's awesome.
Now I know a lot of people out there don't have that, didn't have the chance to have that, but I was very fortunate that I did.
That's incredible.
Just people who saw that I had a skill, and they were like, well, why don't you maybe push down that skill, get into that arena. And I didn't have any idea that the art industry even existed. I was like, really, people get paid to draw? It was just so weird to even think that. But the school that I decided to go to was called Butera School of Art, and they closed. It's a shame, but they were a school run by all commercial illustrators. All of my teachers worked in the industry. Some teachers did packaging artwork for the games, Parker Brothers and stuff like that. Some of my teachers worked they did advertising. Some of my teachers did stuff just all over the board. But their main mandate was that you get paid to draw. I remember that was the key thing that they kept drumming into pretty much the student's mind, that you do not give away your artwork, your skills for free. You are a contractor. And they laid it out. They were like, you're a contractor. They said, you don't go to a mechanic and say, hey, mechanic, I just brought my car, fix it for free. Exactly. Or you go, or plumber. Oh my God, the toilet's overflowing. Well, you wouldn't mind doing that for free, right? Exactly. So they were they laid it out like that. They said you should be getting paid for your services because guess what? You're bringing something to this client, a service that's going to make them more money.
Exactly.
And all you're doing is asking them for what your worth is. And it was that kind of mentality where you start building. It's not about being greedy, but it's just about I am worth something. I should be compensated for what my worth is.
100%. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And then in turn, you, the client, hopefully if you've done your work and whatever your product is, will make a ton of money, more money than I'm gonna ever make. And so that was that kind of thing that they sort of implanted into my mind. So it was a 3-year school. I ended up getting my degree in commercial illustration. And now, while during that was going on, I mean, I've always worked my whole life. So at the age of 12, that was my first time where I started working. And then I've done so many different jobs. I mean, I was landscaping,
Yeah.
telemarketing, stock boy,
Whatever it takes, right?
whatever
It
it took,
takes.
whatever
Yeah.
it takes. But then when art school came, I
Hmm.
finally got work doing as a security officer.
Okay.
And it was a good company. I mean, the company loved me. And they were like, well, okay, here's the point, Washington. What are you going to do? Now, my captain was like, he said, you got two paths. He said, you're putting yourself through art school, but also you have a chance to build a career in security, which would have been armed security. That would have been my next level, what I would have went to training and take it to. But he said, Washington, on the nights that I see you doing the work, when we're doing security work, the rounds and stuff, you're always drawing.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where he said, you know the answer.
Yeah.
You just have to.
I see your passion. I know your passion, right?
And I was like, okay. And I said, and I remember that. So it was hard for me.
Yeah,
because it was like at that point it was 9. It was like it was an 8-hour job, kind of 8 hours a day.
Right,
it was a safety net.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing was like going into art, there was no safety net.
Yeah,
that was the path of the freelancer. I call the way of the way of the freelancer.
Exactly.
Which is in most cases you don't have a net. You are really out there exposed.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is that if you're a fast learner, and you have passion in your heart, you can get the work.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of businesses out there looking for people for your skill set. And so, I think I graduated in 91 from art school. It took 2 more years. But then it was at that point where I landed at a small production studio.
Oh, okay.
That it popped up. It was a movie production studio in Waltham, Mass. And I got to work. They hired me on. First it was part-time and then eventually full-time. And I was a storyboard artist.
Oh, cool.
For two of their films, which got picked up by Miramax.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome,
I actually had screen credit.
That's so cool. That is awesome.
Which blew my mind. Yeah. And I got a little taste of it, but I wanted more.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then I got the chance to do some work for an animation studio. Unfortunately, animation studio closed, but at the time they were called Olive Jar Animation. They were located in Brighton, Mass, and they did a lot of stuff. MTV, the early MTV stuff, the commercials that you saw during MTV, like Liquid Television.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Man.
They did a lot of that stuff, and plus they did other things, commercial stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
I never forget it. I was there at the time when they tried to pitch to Todd McFarlane to do the animation for Spawn.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So I actually saw the reel that they did for their.
How cool is that?
Spawn, and it was American anime.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really cool. It was really cool that they did, but unfortunately, Todd McFarlane decided to go with another studio. Yeah. But the final gig that I did with them was for the Universal theme park, Marvel rides. Which was the Incredible Hulk, and I forgot what the other one was. But I remember signing the paper, the NDA from Universal, and it was for the Hulk and Dr. Doom ride. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I've never been there, but if you go on a ride, there's an animation short.
Oh, okay.
Now that was years ago. I don't know if they changed it. But
I'm not
years
sure.
ago, if you saw the animation, then I was part of that team that worked on that animation. Yeah, I did a lot of designs. I did some designs and stuff. Did a lot of designs for the Hulk stuff. I tried my hand at animation. And I'm talking old school 2D animation. So the light table, that kind of thing, inking. It just wasn't in me.
Yeah.
It's like you
work though, right? It's a lot of labor, right? To get
again,
slip done.
It's funny. Is it work if you're passionate about it?
100%. Yeah, it's not.
That you got to look into that context. So it's like a mechanic. Like I just took the car in for its inspection and we had to get maintenance. I'm not I forgot what the term is for mechanics, but I'm not in that world.
Yeah.
So I look at it as that doesn't look like fun to me.
Yeah, exactly.
But to those people, they're like, hey, whatever, they're working. So the same thing. Like I think for animators, I had roommates that were animators, and many of them went off. They went off to LA and stuff and worked on a lot of big animations. But they had a passion for it.
Yeah.
I just didn't. My passion is for sequential art.
Yeah.
I love, first and foremost, I love sequential art. And then pretty much just straight on commercial illustration. Yeah. I just love the fact of illustration, the ability to draw whatever you want to draw.
Yeah.
Awesome. Albeit it'll be in your style, my style.
Yeah.
but I'm able to have that ability. So if somebody from a realtor came up to me and said, "Hey, we want to hire you to draw houses,
Yeah. Yeah.
for our clients, for people who may buy a house," I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I won't shy away from that.
Yeah.
If somebody says, "Hey, we want you to draw which I've done, a caricature
Uh-huh.
of us with our dog," I've done that job.
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
A commercial illustrator. The way my teachers were laid it out was they said, think of the art industry as a vast ocean. It is the vast ocean.
Yeah.
And then you have all these little inlets. So comic books would be an inlet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you want to work as a storyboard artist, it's an inlet.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
sort of you're on your boat and your boat's navigating off the wide ocean, and you
Yeah.
sort of go into an inlet and you go, okay,
Right.
wow, this is an inlet comes into a lake, and
Yeah.
depending on how big the lake is, then you sort of navigate through that. So pretty much
Exactly.
as a commercial illustrator,
Yeah.
anyone who's under that umbrella of that,
Yeah.
they technically can navigate through various waters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas somebody if they say, well, I'm passionate, I want to be an animator,
Yeah.
they may have a hard time.
Yeah.
Like an animator may have a hard time doing work as, say, advertising.
Yeah.
Where it's like layouts, like I worked in advertising. I did layouts, comp sheets, video boards, TV boards, storyboard. They may be like, wow, I can't, my mind just isn't, I'm hardwired for this. Or like even comic book people, comic book guys, there's a lot of comic book guys who might not be able to break into the world of advertising.
Yeah.
Because they're so geared into the structure of comic books, where it's like, well, I'm sitting here and I have X amount of months to work on this, whatever, these pages. Whereas in advertising, for me, once I left animation and got to advertising, it could come down to hours.
Wow.
It'd be like, well, I get a call from an art director and they're like, hey, Frank, we need 30 storyboards fully colored by next morning.
Oh, wow.
Guess who's not sleeping that night?
No.
It's like,
that's an all-nighter right there, right?
Yeah, or they're like, and I've done those kind of jobs. I did a lot of those kind of 24-hour gigs where it was up and they're like, hey, we got a campaign, we got to get it to the client for the pitch meeting. We need XXX, that kind of thing. So, but those skills that I did, they've all led me up to the path where I'm at today.
Yeah.
And that's
all building blocks, right?
Yeah, and that's the kind of artist that I always want to be. I used to tell people, one of the taglines that I used back in the day was eclectic artist.
Yeah.
I said I wanted to be, because I would always I would talk to various artists and they were like, well, I want my portfolio to be this and whatever. And I said, no, when someone opens my portfolio, I want them to look at the broad range of all the stuff I did. So it's almost like they go, how did one person do this?
Yeah.
I love that. I love those kind of conversations where people go, you didn't do this. And I'm like, I did this. because all through my artwork, you will see one little string of my style sort of in there. It's like I don't deviate away from that. It's a little string. But you have to be able to see it. But I've done from paintings, super like realistic paintings, to the most super like cartoony looking thing that you ever can imagine. And it's like, wow, but I wanted to be that kind of artist. I always said that. I said, if I when it's my time to leave this world, I said I wanted to be like my body of work is going to be so vast. So I want to do which I have, RPG games, illustrations. I've done book illustrations, I've done trading cards, I've done sketch cards, I've worked on toys, I've done stuff for video games. I've done, in that comic books. I mean, advertising, film, possibly some of that stuff might have gone to even TV, maybe even some video stuff that's floating out there somewhere. So for me, this is the accumulation of what my dream was when I first walked through the doors of the art school.
That is so cool, man. What a background and what a foundation for everything that you've done up to this point. I mean, that's incredible, Frankie. I mean, and it's so diverse, all these different skill sets that you've been able to gain over the years. I mean, yeah, man, you're kind of a Swiss Army knife when it comes to art, man.
but I tell any artist out there that you shouldn't limit yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should learn as much as you can. One of the things about me is that I've had a lot of, well, let me rephrase it. I use the term the universe. Yeah. And I say the universe provides for us. Yeah. It talks to us. But you have to be willing to listen. Yeah. That's the key thing. Yep. So it's like we could have a conversation, and in that conversation, I'll pick out a few nuggets that I'll be like, Now, maybe a lot of it I may not use.
Right, right, yeah.
There's always going to be a nugget. Even when you were talking to Pete the other day, I
Yeah.
picked out nuggets.
Yeah, yeah.
Even the conversations I've had with Pete, there's
Yeah.
always a nugget.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
have to be open for those nuggets. Now, if you're a
Exactly.
person who's closed off
Yeah.
to everything,
I miss a lot,
then
man.
you miss a lot and you won't
Miss a lot.
grow. It won't
Yeah.
help you to grow. And that's the whole process.
Yeah.
You should want to elevate yourself, to
Yeah, yeah.
evolve. Like I don't want artwork that I did
Yeah.
back in the days of when I was in art school
Yeah.
still looking the same. I don't want my artwork to be looking like that. I'm always looking to try to
Yeah.
push my artwork a little bit further.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Because
awesome.
by the end, I'll be like, wow, Dad, I can't believe I actually did that. See, I
Yeah.
want to feel that. Even some days when I look at some of my stuff, I go, wow, I actually did that.
Yeah.
For instance,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
that's why I brought some stuff.
No, I
For
love it,
instance,
man. I love it. Let's do it.
this is a piece. Well, actually, you can look at this as well. This is another piece I did for someone, but this is the
Wow.
cover,
That is
the cover art
amazing. That's
for
crazy, man.
this is the cover art for It Came Out on a Wednesday, and this is for issue
Uh-huh.
20,
Yeah.
coming out from Alterna Comics.
Yeah.
And excuse me, Pete had mentioned, he said, Frank, I would love to see you do a cover similar to what you do for your sketch cards.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure at first. I was like, I don't know. I
And
was
the
really,
detail, Frankie, that is incredible,
I
man.
had a little pushback, but thank goodness
Yeah.
I didn't give up. What I
Yeah.
did was when Pete first mentioned it, I took it, I let it soak in.
Yeah.
And then the way I do stuff is that I have these moments where I let stuff soak in, and then I go, well, let me just challenge myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once a challenge, the dare comes in my head, then I go, let me just try it. And I'll tell you one thing, this piece is one that I'm so happy.
You should be, man. I mean, that is absolutely incredible. The detail, the colors, that's insane, man. That is gorgeous. That is beautiful. That is beautiful, man.
Well, see, with this cover, then it leads up to the current thing, which King
Yeah.
Cryptid.
Yeah, yeah.
And there it
Yeah,
goes.
I did. You did send me kind of a little snapshot of that, man. That is awesome too.
And the funny part was that the rain was a last minute thing because Pete came out of the
Really?
blue and said, Pete was like, well, Frank, he said, I don't know if you could do this because I had
Yeah.
already done it. I had already painted. I was like, oh my God. And he was like, he said, Frank, could you put rain in there?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, ooh, but and you have that moment, you go, oh my God. But then all of a sudden I sat there and I said, challenge yourself, Frank. That little voice in my head, challenge. And I started thinking of Frank Miller.
Yeah, Frank Miller. Yeah,
I said, I'm see if I can channel the inner Frank Miller, Sin
yeah.
City Rain. And I'm telling you one thing, it's making me very happy.
Yeah.
That people are really digging this and stuff. I don't
Oh,
know
that is incredible, man. Look at
there
his
you go.
chest too.
Yep.
That is the detail is just insane, man. That is beautiful, man.
But here's something. This is going to be a first. Now you're getting a first on your show.
Woohoo! Let's do it.
This is the one that got shot down.
Really?
Yeah, this got shot down.
Man, that's dope too, though.
Yeah, it's a different feel.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
that's what you did. I submitted like 2 different covers, for Pete to look at. And what happened was I said, you know what?
So awesome,
I wanted to test the colors, so I decided to just color it up. So this is the other one.
Man, that is incredible too, man. I'm not sure which one I like the best. They're both dope, man.
But that's all
incredible.
That's all based off of someone suggesting something.
Yeah, yeah.
And in me pushing myself, because I mean, I'm used to doing. Actually, I'm working on some cards right here. This is the cards that I'm doing for the Kaijus and Cowboys Kickstarter that we just had. This is the fulfillment card. So there you go. I don't know if you could.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah. Oh, that's dope.
This is what I'm used to.
It's like drinking out of a skeleton head.
Well, actually, yes, it's Baragon. It's Baragon, but he's drinking out of a. Let me see if you can see it closer. It's a radioactive, container.
Yeah. It almost looks like a skeleton, though.
Whoa, okay. I like that.
Yeah, but now I definitely see the radioactive. Yep.
So then I just wrapped this one up today.
Oh wow.
This is B-Win.
Yeah, he's so dope, man.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, and we'll definitely talk about Kaijus and Cowboys.
Oh, for sure, you have to, man.
This was Ultraman. Somebody wanted Ultraman with a cowboy hat.
That's so cool, man.
And as I always tell people out there, if you're gonna do Kaijus, giant Kaijus, always throw a helicopter in there. That's my key thing. And then this was This is Doc. Doc is a new character
Yep.
that pops up in issue 2.
Yeah, I like Doc, man.
I love Doc. I'll tell
Yeah.
you right now, me and Matthew, it's a new thing working. Well, not a new thing. I love collaborating. Like I've
Yeah.
created stuff on my own, but I
Yeah.
love the act of collaboration just because I've worked years
Yeah.
with teams,
Uh-huh.
and there's a certain synergy that I do
For
love. I
sure.
love that sense of synergy. And
Yeah.
so when we were
You
coming
could
up with
feed
the
off
idea,
of one another, the energy you feed off
exactly,
of, right? Yeah.
exactly. And so when we were coming up with
That's
Doc,
so cool, man.
my first drawing on Doc was like this big cumbersome robotic figure.
Yeah.
And mind you, during this time, I was watching, finally watching Clone Wars.
Mm.
I don't know why I stopped watching it, but finally, me and my wife sat down and I said,
Yeah.
let's watch it, and we got hooked. And
Yeah.
one of the things that blew my mind, which is funny, is that first off, let me just explain that I am not a hardcore Star Wars person. Mind
Uh-huh.
you, I grew up with Star Trek.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Star Trek. But
Yeah.
with that said, I respect Star Wars and I like Star Wars for what it is.
Yeah.
So I love what it is. I will admit that I've gotten really hardcore about Star Wars these past couple of years because they've been expanding the universe and the
Yeah, they
technology's
have,
been
man.
allowed. But one of the things about it was that I love robots so much that I remember having a remote control R2D2.
Oh, wow.
And I had 3C3PO as a figure too, just because they were robots.
Yeah.
And the funny part was I never knew how capable
Yeah.
R2D2 was until Clone Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
I started watching and I'm like, he's really capable. Like he can do a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So then that changed my view on Doc. So I came
Yeah.
back and then Matthew said, well, why don't we do him as a little kid? And I said, a little kid named Doc? I said, that's
Yeah.
weird. I said, no. I said, I'm gonna tell you right now. I said, I see him as I said, Matthew, did you ever see the movie Tombstone? And he
Mm.
said, yeah. And I said, okay. I said, Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer was Doc Holliday. I said, why can't we just do an older character
Yeah.
who can be a partner
Yeah.
to Bwin or something on that line? And he said, okay, let me just see it. And I drew it and he said, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, there you go.
No, that's a great addition to that too, man.
I love the
That
character
character is
so much.
amazing, right?
And
And he can say a lot, right? On behalf of that's dope.
Bwin. This is my one card out of the commissions from that campaign was in full color.
Yeah.
And they wanted Wolverine.
Wolverine, man. Yeah.
But what was nice was they said, hey Frank, you could draw whatever Wolverine you want.
Yeah.
But just Wolverine, because they said I'm a collector of sketch cards. I love your artwork.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I did a lot of sketch cards for upper deck cards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did a ton. I worked on their Marvel licensing.
No way.
So yeah, there's a lot of cards. It's funny because you can see a few of my cards if you go on eBay and you type my name. Some cards might pop up, but I'm very happy to see that not a lot of them. So that means that collectors are holding on to them.
Yeah, they don't want to get rid of them.
They don't want to get rid of them. But when I was working on the upper deck stuff, I remember that I purposely drew characters that I knew a lot of people wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like I cracked open my Marvel universe and I said, my mission.
Yeah. I got like a Marvel encyclopedia with characters that people just forgot about.
Because I knew people were going to be drawing Wolverine. I knew they were going to be drawing Captain America and Thor. And I said, because of the movies and stuff. And I said, that's fine. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to go through literally the Marvel universe of characters, the most obscure characters.
Yeah.
And I did it and I got away.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Upper Deck, actually, they wrote a thing. They actually appreciated that. The only time that they shot me down, which I'm fine with, was when I tried to put Red Ronin.
Yeah.
And I ended up keeping those cards.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like,
you still got that's awesome.
Yeah, I still got them. They were like, well, we don't want to put that character, whatever. They gave me some kind of reason or whatever. And I said, fine, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
I said, I love Red Ronin. It was a shame because I was like, man, I want to try to put some robot stuff in there. Yeah. I think I did put a Kree Sentinel.
Yeah.
The Kree Sentinel got in there. That was a great picture too. I did a great job with that one. You know what I'm trying to remember? Yes, I did do a Sentinel.
Did you?
I did. I did a card puzzle with the X-Men, the classic X-Men, the classic ones, fighting a Sentinel.
Yeah.
That one, there was a puzzle card set and they got smashed up.
I mean, that's classic. You gotta have a Sentinel if you're gonna have X-Men.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I was always trying to find ways to just mix it up because I said, well, it's like I want to be different. It's like why do I want to? I'm not a follower.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm somebody who if you knew me in school, you would. I talk to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a click kind of guy. I'm just like, hey, this is Frankie B over here. What's happening? What's your name? And then we'll rap.
Right.
And if we jive good, then we jive. We hang.
Yeah, exactly.
If not, then we go our separate ways. You do your thing, I do my thing. And that's the kind of personality.
That should be the motto of our lives, man. I mean, jeez.
But I think that's the thing. It's like my kind of personality is that it's just it's kind of like, hey man, I love learning. I love meeting different people. And I love talking to people because I feel like it enhances me.
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
If I don't talk to you, if I don't talk to you, then how do I learn? It's like I feel like we are organic computers.
Yeah,
and we should be trying to get more input.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of blocking,
exactly.
it's shutting the input port off. It's like no, the input. It's like no, you need more information. You need to, and when I say information, sometimes I feel like because I've had this conversation with a bunch of people, even my wife. Sometimes will sit there and I talk and I go, "Hun," I said, "Have you noticed that when people watch movies now, how they analyze stuff, even comics? I feel like there's almost an overanalyzation of stuff where I'm like, when do you enjoy it?
Yeah, exactly.
When do you just? I go to movies. When I went to movies, I just saw it for what it was.
Yeah.
Exactly. I went in. If it made me cry, if it made me laugh, it made me shout at the screen. I took that moment and I embraced that moment, and it was wonderful. Just like comics, I pick a comic book up, I read it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But there's this change where it seems like there's almost an over analyzation of stuff, and that's why I think that when me and Matthew started with let me see, with this guy right over here. Well, this is the very first one, the Zero issue.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, that one's incredible, man. It's all art, right? It's all artwork.
Well, a vast majority of
it. It's amazing, man, and it's so incredible that you really don't need words in that issue. Zero. I know there is some, but
it was a teaser.
Is a teaser, but you got the story, because you did so good at leading the reader through the different panels. I mean, I put it down and I was like, wait a minute, there wasn't that much words, but I got the story, man. It was awesome. I mean, you did a really good job, Frankie, on that.
When me and Matthew sat down and I told Matthew, I said, Matthew, first and foremost, I said, I'm going to tell you that, the experience that we had with this baby, here's the other. I'll show you the other version, the hardcover copy, which is very rare, of Robot God Akamatsu.
Wow, yeah.
The experience that we had with this, I cannot even tell you how. First off, my partner was James Biggie.
Okay.
And James Biggie currently, I think I don't know currently, well, maybe he is. He did a lot of stuff. He does a lot of covers for IDW now.
Oh, okay.
But when we first came with this idea, we were just two fanboys who just wanted to create a comic.
Yeah.
That was it. It was like I remember we were working at an agency and James worked there full time. I was freelance. I did a lot of freelance work there. And we got in a conversation, and James is hardcore into Transformers. He loved Transformers. Yeah. I was like, I love Transformers, but I'm more, I love the more super robot ones where people climb in the heads, operate the robot.
Yeah.
But I said, we got a common ground. I love the Transformers. I love the G1 stuff. Yeah. So we got in a conversation, and James was like, yeah, man, it's like, he's like, Frank, would you want to read my Batman story? So I said, I guess. I said, sure. So I read his Batman story. And I remember coming back and I said, this is pretty good. But I said, James, I don't understand. If you love Transformers or robots, why are you doing a Batman story?
That's a good question.
That was my whole thing. I said, there's a dozen, hundreds, thousands of people writing a Batman story.
60 years worth of those, right?
I said, why don't you try to just do something different? Maybe something with giant robots or something. Yeah. And then we started laughing and I said, hey, excuse me. I said, what if we do something about super robots?
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm that person in the room. I'm either the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Or I'm that crazy idea person. Like the person yelling crazy ideas just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Just to spark something. And I said, hey, super robots. And we started laughing. I said, yeah, imagine a world with super robots. And then it's a world, but there's regular robots too. But, but these super robots are more enhanced than they are. And then they're battling stuff. And it was just crazy. It was all over the place.
Yeah.
But from that concept, from that weird idea, this came. Yeah. I remember James came back and he said something. He came with the title. He said, Robot God Akamatsu. And I said, ooh. And then I was like, well, it could be a combiner. And so I did some designs. That's how immediately I started working on design stuff. And then we bounced back and forth and finally we came with stories and we started working on it. So this is before anything went out to market. We started working on it, coming up with pages and stuff. Now the total pages that we have done are 150.
Oh wow.
Black and white.
Wow.
That's how it looks. This is actually a lot of pencil, mixture of pencil and ink.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
So let's see.
And when did you release this?
This was in 2013. What happened was 2012, we did stuff. Now, me and James, we work in advertising. So we learned a lot from advertising. Marketing is everything.
Yeah.
You have to strategize when you market.
Right.
That's something that's just ingrained in both of us.
Yeah.
We practice the art of guerrilla marketing, which is if you don't have a lot of money, you do guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing is a strategy. You go out, you plant seeds.
Yep. People
start asking questions. What is it?
Yeah.
And then you start slowly piecemealing stuff out to the audience to build up more interest.
Yeah.
So in 2012, that's what we were doing. We were sort of piecemealing stuff out.
Yeah.
Gently talking about it. You know, as with if James talking about Transformers, somewhere Robot God Akamatsu pops in.
Yeah.
I forgot what the term it is, what they call it in advertising, but it's a way in which you're it's subliminally where you're laying down. So it's almost like if I had a character who has claws.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you about Wolverine, but there's somewhere in the line I'll interject.
Yeah.
What the character is. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
It's very quick, but it'll stay in your mind because you'll be in the back of your mind going, oh yeah, that character with the claws. Yeah. And when you think of my character, you'll think of Wolverine.
Yeah.
So clearly my character must be really good because it's in connection to Wolverine in a weird way.
Yeah.
That's a tool. That's one of the tools of marketing.
Yeah.
So anyway, 2012, we're blowing up. I mean, people are talking about Facebook. Yeah. We're getting people asking what's this about. We come across a publisher contacts us called Zetabella Publishing.
Oh, cool.
They're located in Canada. They contact us. I want to publish you guys. Wow. Whoa. Now, mind you, again, we were never in the mindset of business,
right?
Which is the downfall of many creators out there.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's fun to create. I'm gonna tell you that it is amazing. I love creating. I would rather sit at my table and draw, create. But this is business.
Yeah.
That is the hard core reality. This is business. As soon as you start asking people for money, you've entered the business realm. Like Twilight Zone. Like the Twilight Zone.
Like that.
It's a business zone. Excuse me. Let me get some water.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please. Yeah.
So once you enter that realm, and you should be conscious of that realm.
Yeah.
But especially when you start going out there and you start talking about your whatever your product is.
Yeah.
You should be very conscious because now people are going to be asking for it.
Yeah.
And now what do you do?
Yeah.
And so once that publisher, Zetabella, came in the picture in maybe mid 2012 into late, things started at originally things were like maybe we were driving 30 miles per hour. It shot up to like 70.
Yeah.
And it kept accelerating. And we weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
We just weren't. We weren't prepared mentally. We didn't have a strategy. We didn't have a business plan.
Right, yeah.
And we just sort of went with the flow. And I mean, we were interviewed. We had interviews across the seas. I'm talking, we reached overseas with our stuff.
That's still a pretty amazing experience, man.
We had a person who we went to cons. We had a person who came to a con, built a suit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a woman by the name of Connie. Connie, if you're out there, hopefully you hear this. Thank you so much. She came and surprised us. She built an actual cosplay.
Oh, wow.
Of RGA, the robot. I mean,
that's so cool.
We had so many people that were behind us, and it was overwhelming. We were prepared. And so when the graphic novel dropped, which we called Volume 1, we had a lot of play, a lot of people loved it. But then came, where's Volume 2? And then and that's when things went downhill.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's the reality. The thing was that we did not plan. Personal things started coming into our lives.
Yeah.
Again, I tell people I'm a working artist. I don't stop being a working artist.
Yeah.
To survive, I have to go out and make money.
Yeah.
Especially now I'm married too. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to justify. So I got to make money.
Yeah.
James has to make money.
Yeah.
And so There was no way. We had no
Yeah.
time. We had no production. We didn't have a production schedule for volume 2. We had none of
Yeah.
that. And then things just started going with our relationship.
Yeah.
We started when we first came together, we started
Mm.
getting farther away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
eventually it failed.
Yeah.
And so in the breath of, say, from 2012 into, say, 2014,
Hmm.
that was the end.
Wow. Yeah.
So we got to ride a wave, but I think
Yeah.
that my feeling with Kaijus and Cowboys, and I had this talk with Matthew, who is my
Yeah.
co-creator, was that this is a redemption for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't like to fail. I don't know about anybody else out there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I am competitive.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am competitive. Like I'm competitive in the sense where, if somebody does something really well, then I'll shake their hand and be like,
Yeah.
wow, you did amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll learn from it. But also I want to win.
Yeah.
I don't, and to win, I have to make sure that I have everything in place, the tools. And that's the
Yeah.
long conversation I had with Matthew. I said, I learned a lot from this. Now,
Yeah.
me and Matthew's relationship is, and I keep telling him that he needs to watch the documentary about the Ninja Turtles.
Mm.
The name is escaping me. Oh, but I'll tell anyone out there, if you see this, there's a documentary about the Ninja Turtles. It's incredible. And hopefully, if anybody wants to post this out there, people can put the links. Even if I find it, I'll even post a link in it.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
it was that it showed the insight of how these guys' relationship.
Mm.
And I remember, like, Peter Laird was older
Yeah.
than Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman very young, a lot of energy, a lot of fire. And I think the way Peter Laird was that he was more of the what's the word? I hope I pronounce it right. And please correct me. The conscientious.
Conscientiousness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
that voice, which you need.
Yeah.
You need to have that voice, or I say the devil's advocate voice,
Yeah.
in the room with you.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that moment, when all the voices are all talking about all the pros,
Yeah.
you need to have that voice that says the cons.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be cons.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody's sitting in the room and they're like, well, we got the best comic book ever, and we're like, our campaign is going to be gangbuster. We're going to make all this money, and they're just on this high. They're talking like they're at WWF back in the day. They're on this level. Well, where's the voice that looks at you and say, well, what if it doesn't happen?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What if this goes wrong?
Yeah. What about
what if that goes wrong?
Yeah.
That voice is so necessary, because that's the reality check.
Yep.
That's the voice that's going to help you to have just a little bit of I'm not saying you need to have a lot of paranoia. My mom always said, a little paranoia don't hurt anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to be too paranoid,
right? Yeah.
But yeah, just like you see an animal. It's so funny. I love watching back in the day animal shows on Channel 2. PBS used to have Wild World of Animals and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you would always see how cats.
Yeah.
Even to this day, we have a fur baby, and she was always watching because she wants to stay alive.
Yeah.
Even though she's domesticated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we take care of her, she's always aware. And I'm like, these things exist in human beings as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of human beings kind of push it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you need to have this. You need to have this thing inside. Just early one, the spider. If we're going to be comic book, the spider sense that's tingling. Where if you're starting to say all this stuff like, oh my God, we're going to do it. Oh my God, we're going to get so many people. Oh, people are going to love our book. Yeah, and you start talking all these weird talks like that. The spider sense just start tingling, saying, well, what if they don't? What if they don't get this?
Exactly, yeah.
Because what it does is it just keeps you in the reality check realm, so that if things don't go that good, then you can go, well, what did I learn from this?
Exactly, yeah. And that's the point. What did I learn from this?
Instead of being the other person who falls to their knees and rolls underneath their desk, and they're just like, I don't want to come out now.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. Unfortunately, we see a lot of people who might have had a great concept, but then it just fails. It fails at the crowdfunding stage, and then we don't hear anything else from them.
Yep.
And that's a shame. Because you need to understand that to do this kind of thing, you need to have a strategy. You need to have a plan. You need to have production schedule. That was one of the things I told Matthew, which again, he's new to this. And I was trying to express to him. I said, Matthew, I said, production. He said, what's that? I said, production. Production exists in everything. Film, TV, video games. See, I think one of the things about it that many people look at, they enjoy the sausage.
Yeah.
but they would never have an understanding how the sausage is made. They would probably lose their mind if they saw it. They'd be like, "Oh my God, what the they'll just freak out because they'll be like, "Oh my God, what you mean this is work?"
Yeah.
And I think the thing about what comic books for years is that many people sort of just accept the comic book. And I get it. You're a customer. I mean, why should you really care about how the sausage are made? It's only those people who dare to push beyond the consumer. And they out of curiosity, they go, "Oh, I want to learn a little bit more about this." But but most people just want to get the comic book. It looks nice, and words look good. I read it. It fits, okay, boom, and that's it. Give me more. Give me more. But if you're gonna walk on this other side of this, and become a sausage maker, then you got to understand that this is a lot of work, and so you need a production schedule. And a production schedule is something that you establish so that it keeps you, the writer, the team, whoever you got, it keeps everyone in check. It helps protect everyone as they're working on this thing. So that everyone has time. So when I say production schedule, I say factor in sick days. I mean, no one knows when you're gonna get sick. Those sick days are there for when whatever happens. You get sick, you got a wedding to go to, you just whatever, maybe it's just a day the creativity's not kicking in. So you have your sick days, then you have your actual work schedule, you have your work day schedule, and then you have the editing phase. So because that may happen. That's a strong possibility.
Absolutely.
Editing may come. So you factor in all that time. Now, who knows what time that takes? Usually for us, we've established a 3-month period. For books. So per each book we do, we give 3 months.
And
I remember when I first told Matthew that, his eyes got wide. Oh my God. Because to him it sounded like a lot. 3 months is nothing. 3 months is nothing. Think about films. Movies, 6 months to a year. TV shows. I mean, even some of the mainstream comics or comics, whatever, some of them could be even longer than that. If you truly believe in what you have as a product, you want to give as much time as possible for that to be the best that you put out, especially in this market. I mean, look at the amount of comic books that are coming out. Indie comic books.
I mean, right now more than ever before, right? Because it's not easy, but the availability to create your own comic book is there. So anybody that wants to do it, right? You got publishers that will do small runs. It's in a sense, it's easy, right? We know it's not easy because it's a lot of work. But anybody could do it really now, which on one side is great, right? Because we're getting all these amazing stories that you wouldn't get out of the big two, right? Because they have canon, they got all this that they have to kind of follow. So indie is bringing forth these stories that are just absolutely incredible. And because of that, there's a lot of content out there. So you're absolutely right. It's just mind-boggling how much
it's a gold rush.
It is.
It's a gold rush. But with that said, many gold miners that went out there didn't get gold. That's a reality check. That's a reality check. Lot. Many of them went out there. Many of them unfortunately lost their lives.
100%.
Because they didn't plan. Because they didn't do their research. Because they didn't take the time to just breathe. Breathe. Learn every single day. The times when I'm working on my comic book, I'm anytime I view online, because of my background working in advertising, it's schools open.
Exactly.
I'm learning. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from Pete. I'm learning from the people who I admire, who are doing stuff like the way you're talking. We're having this conversation. I'm picking up nuances.
You
learn how. So if I do another interview, what else do I learn? Do I learn from ranting too much? You have to constantly be picking up as much information as you can, and it's not always going to be something where, because sometimes I'll have people and they DM me, complete strangers DM me, and they'll be asking for these secrets. I'm sure, and I don't know if you probably experienced that, where you've had people ask you for the magic pill, the magic secret, or whatever. And I'm like, I just
took the last one. I'm so sorry, man. We're all out of magic pills.
I'm straight up with them. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, like how I was schooled. And I'm actually nicer. I'm actually nicer because the people that schooled me, I didn't have the computer. I was face to face. Like somebody's like, your stuff sucks. It's whack. And you just sit there with a smile on your face, like, it's like, but and to me, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that, the whole like personal connect,
Yeah.
look somebody in the eye and they're just like laying it out to you and whatever, because I feel
That's
like
how we grew up, man. That's the
how
only
we grew up.
got that feedback.
Yeah, that was genuine. That to me was like raw. It was in your face, and then you learn, you communicate.
Yeah.
But I get these people who contact me, and I'm like, hey man, well, are you out online? I'll ask them, are you online? Are you posting your work? And when I say post your work, I'm not saying, excuse me, I'm not saying just sketches or rough sketches or just your concepts. I'm saying, are you posting finished, final artwork that looks really the best that you can put out?
Right.
Is that what you're doing? Because if I look at your stuff and I go on there and I see you just cat images or everything other than your artwork, then you're already telling me a story.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to understand that in this world that we live in.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was working, when I had to take my portfolio away in the agencies and stuff like that, people always said, I was always get these warnings. They said, Frank, you got to understand that the art industry isn't that big.
Yeah.
And I'll go, huh? What are you talking about? They're like, well, people get around.
Yeah.
And you project an image. And is it right or wrong if people judge you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't answer that question, but I will tell you that it does happen.
It does happen. Absolutely. 100%.
Because we as people, we see, you put out something, people will see it.
Yeah.
And now that could possibly dictate how they view you from then on. And you have to be aware of that. Yeah. So if I'm posting stuff online that doesn't show a good light, then what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't really be that shocked. Really?
Exactly.
So I tell to any artisans out there, or even writers or creative folks out there, just be conscious of that. This isn't about somebody telling you what you can't do.
Right.
You should, it's about you sitting there breathing. And asking a question, what am I putting out there to this world? What am I suggesting to people that I'm about? What am I trying to make? If you're an artist, then why am I not seeing finished artwork, the best of your best? And I'm not just saying, if you want to be in comic books, and you need to be putting sequential pages out. Not just headshots.
Exactly.
Not just poses. If you really want to, whatever it is, then you should be showing the best foot. If I was a mechanic, then I'd be doing videos of me working on vehicles.
Exactly.
You'd be seeing me working on engines and driving vehicles and just talking about it. And then occasionally I'll be like, here's me chilling at the beach. Okay. But that would be my main thing. I would want people to embrace the fact that this person's hardcore into this. This is their life. This is their story. This is their narrative. So I would say, be conscious of your narrative.
That's good. A lot of wisdom, Mr. Frankie. A lot of wisdom, man.
There's a lot out there for all of us. I said, I'm somebody who's constantly watching other people, and I'm always
Yeah. Well, Frankie, let's talk a little bit about Kaijus and Cowboy. So we had the issue 0, which was a teaser. We had issue 1, which was a successful Kickstarter. There it is.
There it goes.
And then we have issue 2, which you gave me a little bit of a teaser on.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So when can we see issue 2, my friend? Like a complete issue 2?
Well, technically, the April campaign that came out was for issue 2.
Oh, okay. I missed that, man. I wish I would have been part of that.
Well, what I'll do is I'll be very nice, and I'll send you.
I'll pay for it, man. I don't want nothing free, man. I will pay for.
Well, what I'll do then, if that's
I just need your signature on it, Frankie. That's all.
Well, the way we do it. So here's the thing. Then I would say this. Then, if you want that, then I would suggest wait for the August.
Okay, campaign. August. And August is for
the August is going to be for issue 3. But you'll also be able to get issues 1 and 2.
I could do the add-ons, right? That way I can
so exactly. So because that's what happened was we sat down and we wanted to strategize. We said, look, we want to make sure that first off, we want to be able to have the book. So the books are technically done. I just finished wrapping up. Well, I got to color issue 6.
Oh wow! So you guys are really good shape.
We wanted to make sure that we were way ahead of the curve because I'm also working on other stuff. I mean, Pete. For Pete, I'm doing King Cryptid issue 6. And then I'm doing commissions and stuff. I one of the things I learned about advertising, but you don't want a backlog.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to be caught up in the backlog where you're just, oh my God, I'm freaking out and whatever, and you can't, and you start, hey, I can't do this and that. No. You want to be able to have that breathing room.
Right.
So we started working on a ton of stuff beforehand. And the campaign that came out in April was for issue 2, but then you had the option for getting issue 1.
Okay.
As well. And so again, with each campaign, we're learning new ways on how we want to try to do each campaign. Nice. We start our campaigns out because we had people come, they were like, well, why you guys only start out at 2,000, 2K? Well, that's our honey spot.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think people realize how expensive it is to make a comic book either.
Well, it's expensive, art. But you also have to be realistic to your fandom, to the base that you're building. Who we call writers. That's our terminology. So if you come along with us, you are now a writer. Riding along on this journey. And so the thing is that, you know, for anyone trying to start a comic book, you know, like Kaijus Cowboys, we started this back in 2020.
Oh wow.
So think about, like, now we're at 2023 and we just put out issue 2. Our ground game started back in 2020. I want people to understand that I was online. I'm on TikTok. I'm on just talking about it. While also talking about other stuff that we're in the Kaiju community. And the giant robot community. Then the comic book community.
You're right.
You know, we had already started a plan where we were already going into the genre market of giant monsters and giant, you know, robots and that kind of stuff and whatever. So there was a ground plan already established, which most people have to have. So that when we put the book out, then we saw our numbers. Like this first book, actually, surprisingly, issue 0, we actually made close to it. We literally were a hair's breadth away from making $4,000.
Wow.
And then what happened was, the next year for issue 1, which was last year, Matthew came and he said, "Oh, Frank, you know, I want to try something different." And I said, "Okay." So we because we were on Kickstarter, and I was like, "Okay." I said, I don't know. I think we should stay on Kickstarter or whatever. That's where we're at. But he was like, "No, I want to try this new one called Zoop." And so I said, "Okay, do you want to try Zoop?" Because he was like, "Oh yeah," because they said that they'll do the fulfillment. That's Zoop's whole thing. Like they said, they'll do the fulfillment. The surprise was that Matthew didn't sign the contract to do fulfillment.
Oh no.
So at the end of it, we learned that he had to still fulfillment. Like Matthew does the fulfillment. I technically take care of pretty much the marketing, doing a lot of stuff online, that whole stuff. And then I also do commissions and stuff like that. And then I send everything to him. So that's how we have our work thing. So anyway, but what happened was, what we learned on Zoop. Now, Zoop is a pretty good platform. It is definitely not a brand like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Because they're the new kids on the block. For us, it was a struggle on Zoop. It was a struggle. Just because we're not as known. I think that if you are a well-known creator, and I mean known, like you've done books that people can really be like, hey, you did that for Batman, or you did this, that level of stuff, I think you're going to do very well. I think that on Zoop, you go on Zoop, you let them do your fulfillment, gangbuster. I think you're gonna do very well. If you're somebody who doesn't have a very strong fan base, you're in for a fight. If you can make it over the finish line, then kudos to you. But you're gonna be in for a fight. So we learned an important lesson. So we made it. We inched over the line with Zoop. It was a hard battle. So that's why we decided to go back with Kickstarter. Now with Kickstarter, we said our honey spot start off will be 2,000. Now if we get more people, that's icing on the cake. But regardless of what, we just have to make the 2,000. Which surprisingly we did in like I feel like it was like a day or 2 days.
That's awesome, man.
Which was a great
congratulations. That's beautiful.
But that's all based off of the ground game.
Exactly.
This is all based off of people going out there talking about it, engaging. I love that. I love engaging people online. I love talking with them. People have questions. I love to communicate with them. Learn stuff about it. And I feel like as each issue is sort of piecemealed out, engagement's going to keep growing. So I love this whole sense of organic growth.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not in it for, the whole big numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it made it. I mean, if it did, I wouldn't even know what to do. I'd be terrified.
Yeah.
If we had like, six figures,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would. My heart would be pounding. I wouldn't even. That'd be a level I'd be terrified of.
Yeah, yeah.
Because now it's a whole nother level that you're dealing with. I love the slow pacing
Yeah,
of
yeah.
organic growth.
Yeah. More sustainable, I think, that way too, right?
The whole point, I remember having a conversation with Matthew, and I said, Matthew, I want Kaijus and Cowboys to be something that that people experience what I experienced with Shogun Warriors and the Marvel Godzilla and anything thereafter. I said I want it to be something that's ingrained within the consciousness of the people, and in turn, they pass that addiction on to someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what I imagine Stan Lee did back in when they were getting Marvel going again.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
When it was like, let's put something out.
Yep.
Let's see how people, if it gets into them, if they like it or not.
Yeah.
And people have to remember that Marvel put out a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Before they were like, hey, let's throw it against the wall. I mean, X-Men flopped, I believe, when it first came out. And then it took so it's like, put something out.
Yeah.
Have a message, let it get into the psyche of people, and then we just build from that.
Yeah.
If 70 people like our comic, pat on the back.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then we'll see how the next one.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And you build from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, with Kaijus and Cowboys, pretty much we'll go through it. The story. Kaijus and Cowboys is actually a story that's built off of a previous story that me and Matthew did. And actually, what's going to be funny is that the people who end up doing the campaign for the past one, April, we decided to take the stories, the black and white stories. One of the stories actually appeared it came out on a Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Comics. So Kaijus and Cowboys.
What issue was that one, Frankie?
Oh, off the top of my head. Oh,
that's okay. Yeah.
The name of the story was called Team KS1.
Okay, Team KS1. Okay.
And I'll if I can find the issue, the thing, I'll shoot it to you.
Sweet.
Which one it was, but I don't know. It might be out of print too.
Yeah. Some of them are.
Yeah. But the thing about it was that me and Matthew did the story. It was called Team KS1. So, but it was the past. It was the past for Kaijus and Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
So, and it dealt with armored. I don't know if you remember the show. You probably do. Centaurians.
Oh, yeah.
So think of Centaurians meets and humanoids.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was like that. It was sort of like a story where you had armored fighters, humanoid armored fighters in these specialized suits, and they battle giant kaijus. These kaijus are coming from space. They're attacking Earth, and it's definitely a future Earth, but not too crazy in the future. But they have like suits and stuff, and they're fighting these kaijus, and we don't know where these kaijus are coming from.
Yeah.
So now we come to Kaijus and Cowboys.
Yeah.
Kaijus and Cowboys is now the point where humanity is in this massive giant arc. They find a new world, a gigantic world. Unfortunately, this world is inhabited by Kaijus.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, we need a home. So we're going to terraform regardless. So this massive arc is controlled by this AI system called Father Mind. And Father Mind technically watches over the Ark, and the Ark has the last remnants of humanity. So you have all these human beings who are in cryosleep, and the robots are sent down to the planet to terraform it.
Yeah.
Now, when they go down to terraform it, lo and behold, they're being attacked by these kaijus. Now, as a way to protect the robots that are terraforming, the hunter bots are created.
Yeah.
And Bwin, the bot with no name, is one of these hunter bots.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so he's one of the hunter. Now, one of the funny things about Kaijus and Cowboys is that when we created, first when the name came, we just loved the name. The name just rolled off the lips. Because that's in marketing, that's one of the key things.
Yeah, for sure.
You develop a title for something, you want something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
X-Men, think of something that rolls off your lips. So it's not too that immediately someone could just say it and they'll go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Or they think they get it. It's like East meets West.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing. And so Cowboys, I want people to understand that Cowboys, when we use, even though Bwin clearly looks like a cowboy.
Yeah.
we're focusing on the whole how can I phrase it? The what it means to be a cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not based on more so, and even though we do have Western kind of feelings to it, it's almost like Mandalorian. That'd be a good example.
Yeah. Almost like I mean? A loner hero. That's how I saw it.
But see how Mandalorian, like a lot of people aren't dressing up in Western gear.
Yeah.
But it has a Western feel.
For sure. Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make, and I can't find the right words for it. But Bwin is definitely a Western. He is a trope. Of that Western thing. But Hunter bots come in many different ways. And that's a little thing I can say. And you actually will in issue 2 come across some Hunter bots.
Yep. Definitely.
So other ones. So one of the things about it is that the Hunter bots is sent out. They technically, their main mission is to hunt down and destroy Kaijus. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now, the story itself, the overview of the story, we were pushing because Matthew said, "Hey Frank, I feel like I can tell the story. This initial story is 12 issues.
Okay.
So technically, in this 12-issue arc, we're going to be able to take people on this journey that's going to lead to something. And then from there, once we complete the 12 issues, then it just leaves it open. We can, we could either backtrack to Team KS1, or we can backtrack to other stories that sort of connect into the earlier stuff of the life of Bwin, Doc, any of the other characters and such like that.
That's awesome, man.
But we wanted to tell a story of just pure escapism. I
definitely nailed that.
I wanted to remind people of the Bronze Age. That I think that's pretty much a nutshell. I wanted to remind people that we could have covers where the covers give almost a teaser to what might happen inside. That's another thing that I wanted to do was if you look at every cover, it is a teaser of what's going to happen inside. Many covers. I think Pete showed some previews for the new King Cryptid.
Books.
He did. And one of the cool things someone called out was that Pete's actually putting dialogue on the covers.
I saw that.
And I'm like, I totally want to do that. So I may be jumping on Matthew on that one. Because I think that we're at a stage right now where I think people are wanting to see a sense of nostalgia.
For sure.
Now, I'm not saying that we need to go back to how books were back then. But it's almost like take a hint of what they were doing back in the Bronze Age. But then bring it with some of the flair that we have today.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
You're seeing that in movies like all the time, man. These remakes of old 90s. I mean, look at Little Mermaid, right? That's a remake, and it has a more modern feel to it. I think people are wanting that right now, right? They want to have that nostalgia, but like you said, that more up-to-date story within that nostalgia. They want to be able to bring both those things together.
You're seeing some of these movies and shows. Oh, there was one that came out in the name is escaping me, where they're filming, even the style of films. I'm starting to get that 70s. That 70s grindhouse. You're starting to see that kind of stuff. Even if you look at John Wick. That has a feeling of that early 80s, 70s, 80s kind of stuff. I mean, you're seeing people who are definitely putting an image, even with I'll tell you one thing. With the new Godzilla, I love the new Godzilla stuff. And when I grew up, I'm a huge fan of what they call the Showa era. The Showa era Godzillas were the Godzilla films from, say, the 60s and the 70s, where Godzilla destroy all monsters. He's fighting all the different monsters and all that kind of stuff. And that kind of feeling where they would there was some levels of seriousness, but not a lot of seriousness. But there was some points where people died. Wow. But then, and then there was scenes of violence and stuff like that, but there still was a hokiness to it. Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, that kind of stuff. Well, one of the things about it, like the new Godzilla versus Kong movie, if you watch that movie, they were definitely harping on that era of filmmaking. I mean, where they didn't explain, like, wow, how did technology advance to the point to make Mecha Godzilla? And it was amazing.
Yeah.
because you didn't question it. You just
Yeah.
accepted it. Like in those early movies of Godzilla,
Yeah.
they were like, oh, these space people from the black hole are coming to Earth with the Mecha Godzilla. And Mecha Godzilla is like, wow. There was no sense of, you didn't even need to explain anything.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was just cool. It was almost like when I used to watch. I love martial arts movies. I don't know if you love martial arts movies.
Yeah. Yeah. For
All right,
sure.
do you remember the Shaw Brothers?
Oh yeah. Of
All right, there
course.
you go. All right, here we go. Here we go. Right on. Here we go. Let me put this down. Woo!
Yeah.
All right, so you remember Five Deadly Venom?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you don't know how
It's been a
bad I
long time, to be honest, Frankie,
dude.
but man, I grew up
If
watching that
if
stuff.
I had money, honestly, if I was a wealthy person and people were talking about stuff to redo over,
Oh
like
yeah.
there's not even up redo, but just remake or redo.
Yeah.
Five Deadly Venoms would be on the top of that. It's just the fact that you had these guys who had martial arts skills
Yeah.
where they trained and then they're almost superhuman level.
Exactly.
But it was like animals. Like you had the character Toad, whose
Yeah.
skin was like as hard as steel.
Yeah.
But his only weakness was his ears.
Ears,
And
yeah.
I knew when his ears got ripped off, he lost his power. I'm like, dude, that was insane.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
you didn't even have to overanalyze anything. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, well, theoretically, the human skin doesn't get tougher. It's like electrolytes going through the body. No. I just want to see a dude with armored skin. And like there was a guy named Lizard. He did the lizard technique where he could climb up walls, man.
Yeah.
We didn't explain. You didn't have no need to explain, like, physics. Physically, it's impossible for a human. No, dude, he climbs up walls.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to know.
And that's one of the things that I think that if we can bring that kind of flavor and sort of mix it into the formula, some of the stuff today, you're gonna have golden. It's just gonna be the golden moment right there. Yeah. Because again, comic books, just like anything else, it's entertainment. People have to remember that, because for the longest time, I think I see a lot of people out there and they're like, well, I'm putting out the best, my perfection. And I'm like, I sit there and I go, but I'm not perfect. I'm not. But humans aren't perfect. I can't. This isn't perfection.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say that right now on this show. This isn't perfection.
Yeah.
This is passion.
Yeah, exactly. Big difference.
Let's eliminate perfection and just put passion out.
Exactly.
And then see where it goes. People have to understand that, you can sit there in your studio and you can feel like this is the greatest thing since sliced cheese and bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, I can sit there all day. I can stare off and I can have grandiose feelings and talk or whatever, but that doesn't mean squat if no one's buying it. Exactly. If the fandom isn't there for you, I mean, let's be honest. Star Wars wouldn't be great if the fandom didn't exist. Star Trek wouldn't be great if the fandom didn't exist. I mean, I can go on and on. We wouldn't be watching another Indiana Jones if there wasn't a fandom that pushed it, because they were the ones who went to the theaters and watched it and said, this is great.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, is any of us who are in this field are doing stuff like this, we have to take a step back and really understand that greatness comes when people look at it and say, okay, it's great. Like Watchmen. Yeah. I think Watchmen is great because I read it. The artwork's tremendous. And it's great because I read it and saw that. They could have been saying that to themselves, but if it came out and it wasn't, people didn't buy it,
that's the end of it.
That's the end of it. You can,
that's it. It's over.
To your dying day, you just be holding your copy, whatever that you got, and be like, and with a sign on your head, on your forehead, greatness. I guess to you. Exactly. And you don't want to be at that place. You just I that's why I always feel also that it's okay to have a little humble pie. Yeah, absolutely. I have talks with Matthew a lot, and I said, Matthew, one of the things about it is that we have to, for ourselves, is that we got to make sure that we're not putting this out like the WWF. Yeah. Wrestling is a different animal. Than creating comics. Comics should be passion. It should be about me sitting here talking to you, looking to whoever's out there viewing it, or if I'm at a con and I'm looking somebody in their eyes and going, I believe in this. And if you take a chance, you journey, you saddle up. That's my term. I love saddle up and dare to ride with us. Then maybe you too will enjoy the journey. This isn't this isn't perfection by no
Yeah.
means,
Yeah.
you know, but I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm imperfect. That's what
Absolutely. We
art
all
to
are.
me, art has always been imperfect to me. That's why I enjoy it. When I went to galleries or went to museums or whatever, when I looked
Yeah.
at that artwork, I would look for the imperfections.
Yeah.
The nice horsehair that's in the painting,
Yeah. Yeah.
in that glob of paint. You know, when I collect artwork,
Yeah.
you know, when I collect artwork from artists, the little smudge,
Yeah.
the ring, the coffee ring,
Yeah.
telling me that there was a late night,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
a human being
Yeah.
might have been exhausted. Hell,
Yeah.
they may have. What if they cut their finger and there's a little blood smear right there? I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that a little. I had a spill a while ago. I had not on all the artwork, but it was
Yeah.
a little glob of spill on the page, and
Hmm.
I drew a little caricature on it.
Yeah.
If I decide to ever sell that piece, somebody's gonna have that.
Yeah.
That I drew this image and I put a date. I some scribbly words on it.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
That's awesome, man.
That's the passion and love for
Yeah.
this thing that we are putting out there. This
Yeah.
isn't about perfection. And if you go out there with that mentality of that you're trying to sell perfection, then then we'll be on to you, I suppose. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
then you have to deal with whatever comes from that,
Yeah. Yeah.
or lack thereof.
Exactly.
Because the thing is that I think people are reaching a stage with people who are reading comic books and collecting comic books or whatever. They're reaching that stage, I think, where they want substance now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think even I'm so happy that Pete is doing long form
Yeah. Yeah.
with the books that he has at Alterna, because I felt that with long form storytelling, you had a sense of loyalty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
was a team. Chris Claremont worked on X-Men for
Yeah.
how many
Oh,
issues? How many years?
yeah. Long time.
We grew to know
Yeah.
his writing style. John Byrne,
Absolutely.
for me, I have a couple of the visionary books that they put
Yeah.
out, graphic novels with John Byrne's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
There was a level of loyalty where I knew I picked that up and it was John Byrne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere it was him on there. Even in the story, the
Yeah.
art, or maybe if a guest person came in, but still he was part of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we should be. I think that's where we might be heading,
Yeah.
because I'm starting to see people much more getting into the investment of the
Yeah.
people who are working on these things,
Yeah.
and these people are putting out something that they're literally telling a story,
Yeah. Yeah.
investing in the characters,
Yeah.
and then letting other people invest into it.
Yeah. Amazing, Frankie. Man, you dropped a lot of knowledge today, man. A lot of wisdom, my friend. It's been it's been so good, man. The
Oh
passion,
man,
you could
here, I'm gonna
sense.
give you back your ear.
Yeah, you could sense the passion, man, and I think that's what it's all about, right? And when you read
Stanley's
it,
gone.
you could see the passion because the
Stanley's
detail.
gone.
Yeah, yeah.
Stan's gone. You know, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
No,
just
no, no,
wanted
it's okay. Yeah,
I want people to understand that Stanley, for whatever case, and I'm not going to get into the other stuff with him and Jack Kirby, but just saying
yeah,
overall, let's take Stan Lee.
yeah,
Stanley was the ambassador
yeah,
for all of us,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
for the whole comic book industry.
Yeah, yeah,
He was this guy that came out there and he
yeah,
told the rest of the world who could care less about this thing
yeah, yeah,
how wonderful it was.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he was out there and he talked about it. He was passionate,
Yep.
and people out there who didn't know anything about it or even cared about it.
Yeah.
A few of them, and when you look at it, there's trillions of people out there,
Yeah, absolutely.
possibly trillions. And even if you got a million people that look that way and go, huh,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe I'll go check that out. That's a million people, man.
yeah, yeah,
You got to think of the numbers in that, and that's what that man did.
yeah, yeah,
That's what he did for all of us.
yeah,
He's gone now.
yeah,
So now, whoever you are, just like me,
yeah,
we all have to go out there and we all have to try to follow that path that Stanley laid out. We all have to become ambassadors.
yeah,
It can't be put on the shoulders of one person. It has to
yeah,
be all of us out there putting out our passion, our stories, the product,
yeah,
that voices this thing in a positive light.
yeah, yeah.
In a positive light.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that
Agree.
I think we all can do it. And it doesn't matter whatever your range of genre is. It could
Yeah,
be
yeah,
horror, it could be war
yeah,
comics, it could be funny comics, it could be
yeah,
whatever. Hell, it could even be political. I mean, I remember
Yeah.
Underground Comics.
Yeah.
The stuff that Crumb and all those other cats did. And I can tell you, I can read those even today. I have some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they were able to reach me too. I could
Yeah.
pick those up and enjoy those just as much as I could pick up Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping, that the era that we can start moving toward. And then I think
Agree.
that's when we'll start seeing some amazing, really amazing stuff.
Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more, Frankie. Couldn't
All
agree with
right.
you more, my
And
friend.
that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
I love it, man. So, just to kind of close out,
All right.
Frankie, right? We have our Kickstarter coming in August for issue 3.
Yes, we don't have a
Kaijus and
tentative date
Cowboy.
yet. Yeah, we don't have a tentative date yet, which will
Yep.
you'll probably start seeing, because I post all the time on all the places. Probably around, I spoke to Matthew, so I said roughly around July. It's got to be definitely after our fulfillment. We're right now in the fulfillment stage for the April campaign. So we're getting stuff together so that we can start getting things out. And Matthew was telling me that hopefully, fingers crossed, by mid-July.
Oh, good. Okay.
We're hoping to get stuff up. So that's a pretty good, nice little span.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of time. So, and then from there, that's when we'll start picking up, and we'll have a tentative date for the August show, and that will be for issue 3.
Issue 3.
With the option for those who might have missed any other ones for issue 1 and issue 2.
Beautiful. And then on top of that, right, we have issue 20 of it came out on a Wednesday.
Ooh.
And you did the cover art for that.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so I can't wait to get that. It's beautiful.
Here, I'll show that again.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yep, that is just an amazing...
I'm excited to get it.
I'm excited to get it, man. That is incredible, man. It's beautiful, and that will be coming out, I think, around the same time frame, right? July, August.
I think so. I'm not.
I think so. I remember talking to Pete about it. Yeah. So it's coming quick.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that one. Man, I can't wait. I'm very, again, kudos to Pete. Pete, he came up and said that, and it was one of those things where, and the thing about Pete, I don't know if because we're from the Northeast.
Yeah.
But we're very honest. Like there's times when people always people laugh because they'll ask my wife, they go, well, Frank always looks happy and jovial and whatever, and she's like, I keep it real, man. And do I have a temper? I don't. I'm a lot better now as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I was a very temperamental individual. But now when I feel that, if I feel that warm feeling come over me, I take a moment. I learn to pause. Therapy helped me over the years but and if I will let people know. And it's funny when I remember talking with Pete about it, and I said, yeah, man, I said, at first I wasn't sure I wanted to do it and whatever, blah, blah. But I said, thank you.
Yeah.
I thank them. And I think that's important. People, there's times when somebody's going to say something to you that you may, just because your brain is processing it, may be different than what's coming out, like what they're saying. So you need to give yourself that pause.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little pause, a little breathing room. For me, it helps that I'm married.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I see too many people, and I suggest anybody out there watching this, don't run to the internet.
Yeah.
And please, I'm sure you have people in your life that you can possibly call or talk to, or maybe meet up and talk to, and maybe bounce stuff off with before you decide to share. Back in the day, we call it's like, to us, you don't share everything. You don't need to share everything. Don't open your window and holler out all your business. My mom used to say, put your business. My mom used to say, put your business out on the street. I would say, just be leery, and I'm glad that I'm able to talk to my wife and also people. If I ever feel that warmth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we all do. We all have those moments where we feel warm.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
The temperature gets a little high, and sometimes it's good to be able to talk to someone just to get that temperature down, because you go, man, maybe I just heard that wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you come back and talk. And my whole point is that I'm just very happy that I was able to tell Pete that I was very grateful for his suggestion, because now, because of him, I'm now doing a whole bunch of these. I'm really stoked. I even did a cover for a future issue of Kaijus and Cowboys.
Nice.
So it definitely has put a bug, and also for the King Cryptid one, and this one,
which is incredible too, man.
This one's going to be dropping next year. I think so.
That's amazing. Yeah, I know his Indiegogo will be this year, and then I don't know when fulfillment will be on
Yeah,
issues 5 through 9. He said
yeah.
so.
So
Yeah, that's awesome.
I personally think that those are going to become, because I worked on a few pages
Mm-hmm.
of issue 6, but I still
Okay.
got to get more. He's got to send me
Yeah.
more of the script.
Oh, got you.
And Pete's writing style is funny when you work with different people. He has a
Yeah.
very unique writing style.
Yeah.
It's close to the Marvel. I feel like it's like the Marvel way, where it's like
Yeah.
he just kind of gives you
Mm-hmm.
an idea, like he'll say
Like
page whatever,
snippets.
and then it's just an
Mm-hmm.
idea, and then it's just like we kind of fly with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then usually when I do my thumbnails, and actually I'll show you, give a people just a quick. This is usually this is a script for Kaijus and Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah.
So usually what I do is I do thumbnails, and then I
Oh,
blow
okay.
my thumbnails up. So it's
Mm-hmm.
a process. So
Yeah.
this is my thumbnails are much smaller,
Yeah.
pretty much the size of, say, a sketch card, a little bit smaller than a sketch card.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
then once I send those off to the person to view them, then they can come back and they'll say, well, Frank, here's a couple of edits. Maybe you can change this.
Yeah.
Then in Photoshop, I can tweak them up, and then I'll make sure. Then I can resend it to them with the edits. They'll
Yeah.
look at it, and then if they say, oh, you got a green light, then I'll blow them up.
Yeah.
And this is
Okay.
the actual size that I draw
Okay.
my comic book pages. And
Yeah.
then I have a light table. Well, I have a light box. Excuse me. I have light box, a couple of them. I have like
Mm.
2 light pads and 1 light box.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
then just in case one breaks down, it's just that part of me. If something
Yeah.
breaks down, you
Yeah,
want to
that's
make
your
sure you get
livelihood,
extra.
man. You got to be
That's
ready.
your livelihood, so you got to make sure you got extra. So yeah, so this is technically,
That's awesome, man.
how I lay out stuff. Yeah.
Sweet. And then for people that want to follow Frankie on
Oh,
all social media, how do they
oh,
follow you, Frankie?
oh boy, I'm on TikTok.
Yep.
And doing really well. Wow, a lot of people on
And
TikTok.
just is it under the Frankie B Washington, right?
I keep it simple. One thing I learned from my teachers back in art school days was they said, use your name.
Yeah, yeah.
I never think that's one thing I remember my teacher said. He said, don't use aliases.
Yeah.
Always use your name. He said, when you sign, use your name. So your name itself is a brand.
Yeah, yeah.
So regardless of what, all I say is Frankie B Washington. You do a search, you'll be able to find me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think I still have a Tumblr.
Yeah.
And I also have a YouTube channel as well.
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
Yes, my YouTube channel is same thing, Frankie B Wash. And what it is just me. I treat my YouTube channel as my portfolio.
Yeah, yeah.
I try to tell people go on there and say, hey, look, if you're going on there for tutorial, I don't do tutorials, but I do some of them. I do talk, and just pretty much rambling on. But hopefully it's more of an inspiration.
Yeah, yeah.
So that as I'm talking to you and stuff, and I tell you, hey, I'm this kid from the projects and whatever, and if you got a dream, don't let that dream crumble it down. Yes, it's hard.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes. Life is hard.
Yeah.
once you look at that, then you can smile. You go, yes, life is hard. But with that said, it can be wonderful things. You can see roses. I remember someone once told me, they said, you can look at the beauty of a rose, but don't fail to see the roses as well. I mean the thorns. Sorry. So look at the beauty of the rose, but if you reach out for the rose, be wary of the thorns. I think that's what the saying is. So it's like, understand it's a beautiful thing, but there are thorns, and if you're not careful, you prick yourself. It can be hurt. It can be very harmful to you. So that's life.
That's life, my friend. That's life, Frankie.
Right on.
That is
right
life,
on.
my friend. Well, Frankie, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed our conversation.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
Love to get to know you even better. And man, as we get closer to that next Kickstarter, man, we would love to have you back on. Let's blow that thing up. Let's make sure people know when Kaijus and Cowboys is ready. And man, we're here for you, man. We want to see.
You're fantastic, Thomas. I love this kind of stuff because I think that this is so important. I mean, I think it's important that people can see that we can have conversations about comics. Like I love your background. I got stuff on my wall too.
I know. I saw those. Yeah.
And so definitely, anytime. Like, come on, we can talk about it too. Collections and stuff like that and whatever.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't. I love kidding around. I love joking around, and that's cool. But also, comic books is a business too.
Yeah.
And we all have to understand that. So for all that fun, just like anything, just Star Wars is a business.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff that we love, Marvel. It never stopped being a business.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's okay. It's okay. So I can appreciate the creative aspect of it, but also I can also look at it and go, yeah, it's a business. Yeah, it's fine too.
Yeah.
You know, do I wish that things could be a lot better in some of those business actions? Yeah, I wish they could be a lot better. But here's the cool part about it. Maybe the next generation of people who are creating stuff can build something that could be massive and a hit, and then they can establish a new business format.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they can hire people. Now they can hire people and then finally do something that can, that's what I dream and hope that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll just see. We'll see.
We will see, my friend.
All right.
Frankie, thank you so much. Really enjoyed
everybody.
it. And until next time, man, have a great rest of your weekend. And we'll talk
thank you so
soon,
much.
okay?
And as always, folks, keep the art flowing.
Yes. I love it, Frankie. Take it easy, my friend. Thank you again.
My friend.
All right.
Till next time.
All right. Bye-bye.